we're going to be talking about QR codes. And I know that we talked about this, it might have been like, over a year ago now. It might have been a while. So some of you might be familiar with QR codes, but it's always good to practice. They're becoming more and more popular. I actually saw a survey about how often QR codes are being used, and it keeps getting more and more every year. It's really good to know how to do these quickly, easily. So we're going to practice them. Okay, QR code. So a QR code is a type of barcode that's used to provide easy access to online information using your phone or tablet camera. So it used to be that you had to have special like QR code readers. Now it's built into your camera, which is really helpful. And you'll see on the left just an example of what a QR code looks like. You've probably seen them around in multiple places. And QR actually stands for quick response. That's something I had to look up because I didn't know, because I call them a QR code, but quick response. So it's a way for you to get information quickly by scanning that barcode, digital information. They did a survey with people in the US and the UK in, I think this was 2020, just asking what are some locations where they had used QR codes. So a restaurant, a bar, a cafe, at a retailer like a supermarket or a mall. And then if you go down to that one that says 31.78% on consumer products like packages and wrappers, you buy, I don't know, a box of cereal and they want you to look at something on their website, they might put a QR code on there. You'll see too, there are others in here. So like doctor's offices, travel, movie theaters, bowling alleys, sporting events. So they're very, very popular and used in a lot of different environments, but they're especially helpful for businesses. Okay, and why are QR codes used? They can be used on posters, on flyers, on TV commercials to connect you to digital information without you having to type out a website, or without them having to give you sort of complicated instructions about where they want you to go. It'll just take you directly to the page, the app, the form, whatever it is they want you to see. QR codes are also helpful during COVID. They allow for contactless interaction. So I know a lot of restaurants had it here where you scan somewhere to look at the menu, and that's so you don't have multiple people touching a physical menu, right? So it's one more way to just cut down on the amount of contact people have on objects that might spread something like COVID. So I think QR codes have been around for a really long time, actually, since 1994, strangely enough. But they really sort of got their momentum going during COVID because it was really helpful to have a way of giving people information without having them touch something, right? Other than their own phone, which is theirs that they'll be touching anyway. Smart uses QR codes. So we use them on our brochure. They're on some of our outreach material. They're also on the art kit. So if you got an art kit, you should have seen a QR code on the front page of your pattern. So this is a picture of what that looks like. On the art kit, the Halloween pins pattern, this QR code is going to link us directly to that file that has the instructions. So we print out the pattern for you because you need to cut that out, but then the instructions are linked by QR code, and it'll take us to a file that we actually download on our phone and we can see. And some of you may have already done this and scan the QR code to get these instructions. So we'll use this as a practice. Okay, so how do you scan a QR code? The QR code reader now is built into your camera app. So in all sort of current phones, it's a function of your camera app. So every time you see a QR code that you want to scan, the first thing you want to do is open that camera app. And then you want to make sure that your phone is in rear facing mode, not selfie mode, right? So it's like you're taking a picture outwards facing, not towards yourself. And if you need help switching back and forth, like toggling between those two things, both on iPhones and on Androids, you have a little button on the right that looks something like what I'm circling right here, right now. So it's like a little sort of, a little wheel with arrows in it. And that'll flip it back and forth. So if you open it up and you see, suddenly a big picture of yourself, just flip it around so you're looking in that direction. So make sure it's on rear facing mode. So next, make sure that the QR code is visible in your camera screen, like you're going to take a picture. You're not going to take a picture, but just like it's in your screen, like it looks on the left. And you'll see too, there's a little white frame that comes up around it. And what that is it's your phone reading that as a QR code. So when you see that little white frame, you know that your phone is picking that up and realizing it's a QR code. So you want to make sure that you're holding your phone in such a way that you can see the QR code and it's starting to get frames like that. And you want to hold it relatively still for just a few seconds. And then you should see a notification pop up like this one here. So it says link. It actually has what the web address of the file that they're sending us to. But all you need to do in order to open that now is just click on that link. So click where the address is or where this arrow is. Just click somewhere on there. You don't need to click on where it says show options. You can if you want to, and then it'll just give you the option to do it from there, but you can just click on the thing itself and it'll take you to the link. So we just did that. For the art kit, what it's going to do is take us to download, and it will have downloaded a file that's called Halloween Pins Instructions. To open that file, we're just going to click on that and it'll open up. So it's saved on our phone now. And there we have it. You did it. Well done. So again, so the steps are: open your camera, make sure it's rear facing, make sure that you get the QR code in your screen, and you see that little frame kind of come up around it. Hold it really still, and that link will pop up. Then you just click on the link, and that will either take you to a website or a file. In this case, it took us to a file, so we just click on the file to open it up, and that's what we see here on the left. Like I said, QR codes can link you to all sorts of digital information. So websites, forums, apps, any kind of digital sort of location, right? The next time you see a QR code, no matter what it is, just practice scanning it and see where it takes you. It might not even be something, like, I don't know what it is, but just, practice. If you see one like on the subway or in a store, just go ahead and scan it and see what happens. QR codes are sort of, the mechanism of them is sort of easy, right? Like I'm saying, like you don't have to type in a whole web address, but it takes some practice to figure out how to scan these sort of quickly. Sometimes it's a little clunky. It's like, it can feel a little difficult, right? So the more you practice, the less difficult it'll feel. And when you find yourself somewhere that you really need to scan a QR code for information or for a menu or something like that, then you'll feel comfortable doing it. So just practice. Don't be discouraged if you don't get it the first time or the first couple of times. Practice makes perfect. And then I just wanted to say, we used a QR code on the composting field trip. So it goes to the sanitation website where you can download the app. So if you were walking around and you didn't know what you needed to do in order to open the compost bin, it takes you to that to tell you. So that's just one other example of how people are using QR codes. What do you do if you're trying to scan a QR code and it's not working? Because this has happened to all of us for sure. First, just go through the steps again. Just make sure your camera's facing the right direction. You're holding it still for a few seconds. So just be patient about it scanning. It could take a second. That notification you need to click on doesn't appear. Try moving your phone either closer or farther away from the QR code. And just a tip, if it's a small QR code, like that's on a brochure or something, you need to get a little bit closer to it than you would if it was something that was like on a big poster, right? So the bigger the QR code, the farther away you can be from it. So sometimes you just have to do a little trial and error there to make sure you're close enough or far enough away from the code to get it. So try moving your actual phone and or body either closer or farther away. If that notification comes up, but then, it goes away, like you press something or you move your camera and it goes away, if you try and do it immediately after that again, it might not work. So if you're doing that and you're, it's gone away once and you're trying to do it again, just close your camera app and then open it back up again, and then it'll start from scratch again. I found myself doing that yesterday, actually, when I was practicing doing this. I did it once. It scanned, the notification came up. I was doing something else. I didn't click on it. So I tried to do it again and it wouldn't work. So I had to close the camera app and open it back up again. So just practice doing that if you find that you do get that notification, but it just pops back down again. And remember too, I think this can be a little confusing sometimes. When you're scanning a QR code, all you need to do to get to that link is click on that notification. Don't hit the picture button. So you're not taking a picture. Don't hit the shutter button. You don't need to deal with the shutter button at all. This is a whole different thing. So I think sometimes people get confused and they think that they need the camera button in order to get to this link. You don't. You just hold it over the thing, hold it there. The notification will pop up and the notification is what you want to click on. Just don't even think about it being a picture at this point, right? Okay. And then sometimes too, these links are broken, right? They're not perfect. So if you're doing it over and over on one and it's just not working, it might be that their link broke, it's something wrong on their end. These are all over the place now. You're going to have to use them eventually somewhere. So it's good to know how to use them and good to know that your phone can actually read them.